Hello guys and welcome to the Survivor Vanuatu tier ranking, and today we are going to be doing the tier ranking for Survivor Vanuatu, which I've just said in the title, which makes this super confusing. So without much further ado, we're going to be jumping in. We're going to be ranking them from best to worst in terms of how much I enjoyed them, not in terms of how well they played, because realistically how well they played is the order that they were eliminated in, right? So anyway, we are going to jump straight in. Let's go. So as you can see, we have got 6 categories. We have got gone but forgotten for those people who they were kind of there. I don't really remember much about them. Irritating like a bite, the people who annoyed me to no end. Mediocre, meh, I didn't really like you. You were okay. You were kind of just there. Wouldn't have voted for you. Those are for the people who I liked, but I wouldn't necessarily have wanted to vote out. And then we've got Survivor Goats. Those people who are just absolutely legendary. And then the iconic spot reserved for one singular person. So without much further ado, let us start off with Brooke. I think that's his name. Honestly, he was gone in the first episode, and I was grateful he was gone in the first episode. He was so jarring. I did not enjoy him one little bit. He was so annoying. I just didn't appreciate the way he spoke to people. It wasn't a great time. It was okay. I have to say, Dolly, gone but forgotten. The only reason I remember her is because of her indecisiveness and not being able to pick a side, and then everyone turning on her. I thought that was quite funny, actually. I thought that was definitely a very interesting stance. And the fact that they were going to go for Eliza in that episode, and then it turned around to Dolly. Honestly, pure cinema. I loved it. Next up, we had Brody. Is that his name? I do not remember. Gone but forgotten. Just there. This was the FBI guy, right? Or was this the FBI guy? Either way, he goes in there as well. Those two, literally the exact... Oh no, that was John P, wasn't it? And that was Brody. Okay, we've worked it out. John P and Brody, both very forgettable people. Not very interesting. They just kind of were there. They were pre-merge. They're kind of just out of sight, out of mind. But I have to say, Mia, you're going and irritating like a bite. I really didn't enjoy you. And I'm so glad that you went out when you did, because your argument with Twila was so frustrating. Because I actually just felt like you had no legs to stand on. Like, absolutely no legs. And then you went to the tribal council and was like, oh yeah, I'll be fine. Got voted out. That's what you get for thinking that you're safe. Because you're not. So, maybe, next time, I think you should have just been a little bit smarter, I guess. Just a little bit. Next up, we have Bubba. I probably have put him in, wouldn't have voted for you. I liked Bubba. I thought he was very happy, like a very nice guy. He just made like a couple of bad decisions that made me roll my eyes and made me go, oh, dude, oh, tut is all I can say to him. But I feel like he did a good job in other terms. He had a strong alliance until the tribe swaps. And then, yeah, I enjoyed him. I don't really have anything negative to say about him. I enjoyed his presence on the show. I thought he was very, very entertaining. Next up, we have Lisa. Lisa's going to go mediocre. I never really knew where I stood with Lisa, because Lisa never felt like a real person to me in the nicest way possible. She always just felt like she was on a charm offensive and trying to be so nice to everyone and so lovely and, oh, ha ha ha, funny. And that kind of ended up being her downfall, because people were like, well, hang on a minute, that didn't seem like a joke. And she was like, no, I promise, it is a joke. It honestly is. Voted off, gone, bye-bye. And I think actually, looking back, she didn't really leave a lasting impact on the series, which is a shame, but I still think that her being voted out then definitely changed the course of the show, because they could have easily gotten Rory out and had an entire female alliance again. But instead, Amy once again trying to protect the men in her alliance, even though she's claiming that she wants an all-female alliance. I don't know, something dodgy about that if you ask me. Anyway, I think, yeah, she could stay there. Same with John K. He was kind of just nothing. And I think this is why you guys were like, oh, the pre-merge like phase of the game is is not very interesting. And I was like, no, it was incredibly gripping to watch and enthralling, because like every single time there was an eviction, like there was only an eviction, a snuffing, there was one person that I saw coming and everybody else was kind of a surprise. And I genuinely think that it was just the fact that pre-merge people are just forgettable or are just annoying, and that's why they go home. I don't think it's a this series problem. I think it's a Survivor problem. They just don't have enough screen time. That's the issue. Maybe it will change when they go to an hour. I don't know. But I do feel like the pre-merge, in terms of trials and tribulations, very interesting. The tribal councils were always very entertaining. I remember Dolly's one shook me to my core. Loved it. Rory, you're going in Survivor Goat, my friend. You're going in Survivor Goat. I loved him. I thought he was hilarious. I thought he was funny. The way he was manipulating the girls, amazing. The way he really thought he could get further, he just couldn't. Bless him. And when he was like, I'm going to burn the entire camp down. And then his wife was like, please do not burn the entire camp down. And he was like, fuck, fine, I won't do it. Ugh, fine, wifey, I won't do it, I guess. Ugh, I guess. But yeah, I really liked Rory. I thought he was actually one of the stronger competitors and one of the most memorable competitors of the series. His confessionals, iconic, made me chuckle whenever he went into a confessional. And I thought that he was playing the game pretty well. He was always considered a target, but somehow managed to make it through to the merge. Couldn't make it through to the jury, sadly. I'm really gutted about that. I really am. I'm really upset about that. But it is what it is. Not really much you can do about it. Sarge. I would put him in mediocre. Just because I feel like the first half of the game, I liked Sarge, but I felt like, oh, you're just kind of a bit one note. You don't really give me much personality beyond, I'm an army instructor. Yeah. Woo. Even though he would never say those two words. But, you know what I mean. I just didn't get much from him. And therefore it didn't endear me to him, sadly. I just didn't feel the same kind of vibes that I wanted to from him. But, I have to say, the reason he's a mediocre is more because of the latter half of the game. When, especially in the final tribal council, when he just put Twila on heat for no reason. And I was sat there like, come on, this is not fair at all. This isn't fair at all. Why are you doing this? Like, you did not need to say any of that. That was nasty. Nasty with an R in the middle. Nasty. But yeah, I didn't rate him that much. With Chad, I'm going to put him at the end of wouldn't have voted for you. Again, a person who, fuck me, well done for doing this. I don't think I would have been able to do this with an amputated leg. But the fact that he was able to get as far as he did, and it didn't come down to you're a detriment to the team, it came down to we're voting off the guys. I think that's absolutely insanity. That's brilliant. Well done. However, Chad was a bit of a boring guy. He was. I don't think he ever gave me like proper personality vibes. The funniest moment from him was when he got drunk and was just like stumbling around the place, like over at the village. That was so unbelievably funny and made me chuckle so hard. Yeah, I don't know. There was just something missing from the rest of his time there. I never felt like I properly got to know. No, I never felt like I properly got to know Chad. So, yeah, Leanne, mediocre. I didn't rate her. I just didn't rate Leanne. I just didn't get how she made it top 7 when she had nothing about her. She was kind of just like Amy's lapdog, and it was just kind of boring. I was kind of bored watching her. So when she left, that was her only iconic moment, in my opinion, was when she left and she got voted out. And she was like, oh, I didn't feel like the immunity was necessary for me today. Got voted out. Bye-bye, Leanne. Play better next time. Oh, God. I just didn't vibe with her. I just didn't get on with her. I don't know. There were just so many stronger characters in the top 6 that it would have been tough to not vote for her at that top 6 because everybody else was so interesting and so exciting compared to her. Amy, I'd put her at the top of Survivor GOAT. She ran this game from day one till till Leanne got evicted or got snuffed out, okay? I was very surprised when she suddenly switched from her tact of getting rid of Chris to getting rid of Eliza. I feel like that was her downfall. That was her biggest game flop. Everything else, I feel like she made good moves. She had good moments. And I just feel like she became too much of a threat too early on. And so people picked up on her as a threat too early on. So they just had these mad plans to get rid of her. And then when it came down to it, and Chris won immunity and she was left without it, bye-bye, Amy. Bye-bye. So I feel like Amy did a fantastic job of actually running the game for the first half, first 3 quarters maybe. And then the last quarter absolutely went down the drain. Absolutely just mucked it up big time. Which was a shame because I feel like she really could have gone on to win the show if she hadn't have switched from Chris to Eliza in that one day. Because that gave Chris the opening to go to Eliza and be like, yo, we need your vote, bestie. We need your vote. Next up, we have Julie. Julie's going to go at the top of wouldn't have voted for you. I feel like, again, I didn't have a strong sense of what her gameplay was. What was her gameplay? What was she trying to do? Okay? I didn't get it completely because it felt like she played more of a flip-flop game than anybody else in the game. She was flitting between Chris, between Twila, between Scout, between Eliza, between Amy, between Leanne. Like, she had alliances kind of built in with every single one of them, and therefore it just felt like none of them were genuinely sincere until we found out that, like, the only one that was really sincere was the one she had with Chris, which was the one I thought was the fakest. So I was really confused about her motivations the entire way through. I just didn't get it. I didn't know what was going on. But I did like Julie. It took me a while to warm to her, and I really thought she'd be out pre-merge. So when you guys were like, oh, by the way, that's like Jeff's ex, I was like, huh? No way he's dating someone that went out pre-merge. No way. It has to be like top 5 at least. And yeah, lo and behold, she was 5th. So I have to hand her that. So next up we have Eliza. Eliza's going to go in Survivor Go. I don't know how this bitch survived. In the nicest way possible. And I mean bitch in the nicest possible way. Because this woman was on everybody's nerves. Everybody hated her. Not literally, but like most people had it's Eliza-ness about them. And somehow she made top 4. With her mortal enemies, Twila and Scout. I still cannot believe that. I genuinely cannot believe that she made top 4 with them. And if she'd have won that final immunity, I reckon she would have made top 3. Maybe even top 2. Who knows? But either way, just fantastic. Great competitor. She was always entertaining. She always had a trick up her sleeve. She always knew how to wiggle her way out of an eviction or a snuffing or whatever. I just feel like she absolutely smashed it. She absolutely did. There were so many times where the vote was going Eliza's way, and somehow by the time they got to tribal council and voted, it wasn't Eliza anymore. Like, I think that's absolutely insane. But she absolutely smashed it. I have to give her that. I have to give her credit where credit is due. But next up we have Scout. Scout's my iconic person for this series. Now, you may disagree. You may think it's Chris. That's absolutely fine. You guys have your opinions. My iconic spot is reserved for my favourite person of the series. Regardless of where they would fit on here, just iconic. My favourite person from the series. Last series, it was... Was it Kathy or was it Jerry? I can't... No, was it Xian? I genuinely can't remember. My favourite person last series was Xian, and I had to give her the credit where credit is due. This season, Scout, just incredible. The fact that she had the wrong fucking knee in and was still able to do almost as much as everybody else and was able to keep up. She made it top 3. Top 3 in a physically domineering competition like this. She wasn't able to swim. She was giving everything a go, as Jeff pointed out many a time. Oh my god, what a woman. What an absolute icon of a woman, showing that it doesn't matter if you're on the older end of the scale. I think she was 58 when she did this, and it doesn't matter if you're on the older end of the scale. That's fine. You can still make top 3. You can still power through. You can still survive and do spectacularly. So honestly, big well done to Scout. I'm impressed with you. Twila, you pissed me off, I can't lie. You pissed me off a couple of times. I liked you in the first half of the game. Second half of the game, I feel like as soon as you got into that 4 with Scout, Eliza and Chris, you became a little bit insufferable, I can't lie. It became a little bit tough to watch you because you were just being mean to people for no reason. Like with the whole banana situation, I was like, why has she got to be like this? What is the point? And I also just didn't appreciate the whole, like, I swear on my son's life. I never do. Purely because I feel like it's very manipulative. I don't feel like it's ever genuine. And therefore, it's just a case of, like, I just don't believe it, sadly. I just don't. So when she did that, I was like, oh, Twila, I've just lost a little bit of respect for you because not the fact that you've sworn on your son's life, but the fact that you're using this, you're using that as, like, a cheap trick to manipulate people. I just didn't appreciate it. But, yeah, I would have put her in top. I wouldn't have voted for you because I don't think I would have voted for her. And I did like her for the majority of the game. It was just that last little stretch that was particularly insufferable to watch her at times. Chris, he's got to go at the top of Survivor. Go, my man. My man. My main man. My main man who, against all odds, won the show. Fuck my life. I did not expect a man to win this female-dominated series. All of the men were out by top 7 apart from him. The top 7 included 6 women and 1 man. And he made it to the top. The TOP. I'm genuinely, I just didn't know what to say when he made it that far. Because I was like, what is going on here? How have they allowed this man through? How have they allowed it? This can't be possible. This is impossible. How is this happening? But clearly, he was just a fantastic game player, fantastic manipulator, made it all the way to the end. And if I'm being 100% honest, I don't feel like he did anybody dirty apart from Julie and Eliza. And it just came down to who could I beat at the end. And I think they both saw that in the end. They both voted for him. And I think they both saw that actually he kind of did play a very good game. He played a blinder, an absolute blinder. So that is the ranking. I feel like it was a lot more weighted towards the top than the bottom, but I don't know. We'll see how things pan out in Palau. I'm excited. I'm already 2 episodes in and I'm having an absolute blast. So make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Oh, I'm already 2 episodes in, guys. It's coming out tomorrow. The first episode's coming out tomorrow. Hope you guys are excited. Make sure to jump straight in. But anyway, keep on ranting and I'll see you guys later. Bye now.